From Divine Brothel of the Light Alexander Quinn, Starseed, Arcturian Message, Timeline Convergences. Certain timelines are self-correcting, and others are fracturing, as other pieces and parts of your collective and individual consciousness slowly begin the recovery process of retrieval and this discovery process. You are slowly becoming whole at the soul level, but through filters of trauma and ego distortions that have created paradigms whereby many of you still wear a mask that has made it hard to breathe, to please a room that never asked you to put it on, creating a contradiction between your mind and your heart, your soul and your ego, your feeling and your thinking, and the vibrational response that you receive back, which is a delay in manifestation responses, underlined by the mind's persistence to continue swimming against the current, creating further resistance from your love, freedom, and abundance, which is your soul's expression and the ego's instance on negating it when the mind has become too busy. The fractal your soul wishes to reintegrate as a paradigm contrast in the experience of the mask being dissolved, not torn off in defiance, but simply no longer necessary, so that one can stand unguarded, not to appease a room, but because you finally recognize you are the room, allowing the contradiction to become softened, so that your heart may sail beyond the mind, allowing your soul and ego to collaborate, rather than conflict in a state of observational neutrality, overwriting the limitations of logic and reason from thoughts, then aligning back into feeling. When the lightworker uses this mastery, your vibrational signal is no longer delayed, but immediately again becoming magnetic and drawing all that the heart wishes to it in a responsive concretion as innate becomes aligned with the soup of God and all that is inside of you. The current then no longer opposes or restricts, because you are no longer swimming against it. You are the current creating its own divine timing, as it works with your innate to create a space of self-serving abundance that through osmosis heals those around you and helps others in their own paths. For this reason, the world soul has now entered a fractuation whereby these afflicting energies can no longer vibrate together harmoniously, but now in a separated parallel that is far greater than anything previous generations have experienced, as light and dark untangle themselves from the gray. The designation of lower timelines do not simply cease to exist, but continue in parallel in their contrast to the soul's perspective running concurrently. The same exists for ascension timelines that ran concurrently in parallel, but with a deepening divide since the fractuation and reintegration began. Imagine a highway where all cars drive the same four-lane road. Now that road has been broken in half, with some cars traveling across the reservation, interchanging unconsciously. This can create a subconscious feeling of being torn between the energies, as some lightworkers are swerving from one road across the reservation, creating continuity issues. It is the mental spiral kept alight by your busy modern lives that fuel unknowingly driving on both sides of this busy multi-lane road. This is why we urge you to spend more and more time in nature, without your phones, and to fall into your feeling through your hearts, to check in with your own inner guidance, to keep you from crossing over the central reservation, and stay in the lane you wish to vibrationally utilize. You are in the process that needs to assimilate more of the soul's derivative, so that fear and hell trauma may be realized at a faster rate, by surrendering past duality and its illusions based in paradigms such as politics and other man-made creations made for keeping you all divided beyond the unity consciousness we experience within our society. Were we a civilization, are all one in love and the love of your own soul's calling, working in a state or near total ongoing synchronicity. These subtleties in your energetic fields create resistance, and even fugitive as the fracture within the soul and its two greatest timelines continue to broaden. And for this reason, some lightworkers are finding the ascension timeline harder than others, as the soul, through the eye of a needle, pushes itself through the ego's filters to bring the frequency of that which the human most wants, which is not a place, but a frequency. Some call it heaven in your scriptures. The world around you is going to steadily continue separating in two, like a river forking into divergent streams, each shaped by the currents of the old earth and the new earth, which eventually will become harder to cross from one to another, however hard the subconscious tries. As one begins to attune to these separate broadcasts or streams, the according energy will affect the human's preferences and deepen them in accordance to that timeline. Many of you are experiencing this already in the lead up towards 2030. The way you eat, sleep, and work is fast changing. What used to resonate no longer does. You are quickly evolving into a higher vibration of yourself. Soon these two timelines or streams will become so divided that neither one will even be conscious of the other, unless looked for, even despite them both eventually reaching the same ocean or God's source eventually. Those unawakened after the year 2030 will take more time to see the light. Those of you hearing this message have already aligned to. You are in a magical window of opportunity now, light workers. You have another 5 years upon which the greatest awakening within you all will occur now. We urge you to become clear on what it is that you are intentionally wanting to become a frequency match for, and that which you do not, as the widening of these time fractals increases at this time, to avoid feeling fractured from that which your soul wants in order to make you whole and ultimately happy and joyful. Continue to follow the path of least resistance, light workers. Your soul's innate working in these energies are becoming much more efficient if you can allow for it to do the work for you. Your ego only needs to know what is happening in the material world. Leave the how and when to the higher self. It is working for you at all times. Allow it to do so behind the scenes without your mind's interference, wanting to cross back into the other lane because of unresolved trauma and fear. We love you in a way that surpasses your current ability to comprehend. What you perceive as your highest state of joy and euphoria are, to us and other 6 density civilizations, the beginning stages or lowest frequencies on the broad spectrum of our experience. And so when we say we love you more than you can imagine, it is because on earth you do not have within your energetic ability the perception of our vibrational experience. But you are fast approaching that timeline, dear ones. Very soon on your planet, there will be no one religion or political party, but a unity consciousness, unlike anything you have ever experienced, where divide will be something you look back at in your history and wonder why it was ever experienced. We thank you and we are in gratitude for what you achieved there on earth, unbeknownst to you. It is felt and known throughout this universe and even beyond. Ayawat Ansha, Arcturian Light Command.